Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 6 of the Scania 143 restoration. In the last episode you've seen that we'd had it all shot blasted. What's happening now is I've got Tom here, my body man, just going over the chassis with a DA sander just to knock the top off it all. As we always do, just smooth it down a bit because the shot blaster leaves a bit of a rough textured finish. So we always give this a bit of a hit with the sander. Tom's just doing that as we speak. Tomorrow and Sunday is going to be a bit of a big day for this project because we're going to get the chassis painted and hopefully the wheels, but we'll see where we get up to with that. But definitely at least the chassis is going to be done because we need to stop this from rusting. It's quite damp this time of year, so it will rust pretty quickly. So what we have noticed after the blasting is highlighted a couple of cracks in these mounting points. So this has been welded up in the past, as you can see, not the best. And that's actually cracked again. So I'm going to grind all this off and I'm going to put a nice strong weld across there. Get that nice and solid. And also just on this front corner there, we've also noticed a crack, which again has been welded up in the past. So I'm going to deal with this now. We also need to remove this cross member, as we mentioned in a previous video. We've actually just removed the fuel tank and one of the hydraulic tanks to get in here a little bit better. And now we're going to take this off and we're going to have a new one of these fabricated because it's gone pretty thin. So this is going to come off and we're going to send this to the local steel fabrication shop to get a new one made. So that's going to be coming off very shortly. So I'm going to crack on for a little bit. I'm going to let Tom press on, getting the chassis prepped ready for tomorrow. And I'm going to get these cracks welded up and I'll do another video. I'll be back shortly. Right guys, 2 o'clock in the morning at this point. Long hard day trying to get this thing moved out the corner, get everything ready and prepped to get the chassis painted. And we've had a bit of a disaster. We've reconnected the battery leads up and we've come to start it, obviously to pull it forward to get it into the middle of the workshop and out of this corner. And the next thing, we've got bellows of smoke coming out the cab. So obviously we've disconnected the batteries quick as we could. As soon as we noticed the smoke, it was all coming from behind the dashboard. So obviously we've pulled the dash apart just to make sure there was nothing smouldering still behind there. It wasn't going to set fire. And we're not entirely sure what's gone on here, but if you look down there, that ring of earth have all smouldered and melted. All down there, pretty bad. And obviously because all these wiring looms are intertwined and sort of wrapped around each other, it has damaged some other wiring as well. And that runs all the way across and behind the fuse board into this back of this relay connector there. That's all gone. So no idea what's caused this. We've just put the battery cables back on, come to start it up. We didn't even have the jump leads on it or a booster pack or anything. We just literally connected the batteries up. Obviously the battery leads are the right way around. But there is a lot of wiring in here that shouldn't be in here. There's loads of dodgy connections all over the place. There's bits like that. There's just wiring all over the shop, so we're going to have to pull all this dashboard out now at some stage and check all this wiring, pull out all the damaged bits of the loom and run some new cables in. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. Luckily we noticed it when we did, and it's fortunate really that we have been disconnecting the batteries on this truck, because who knows, it could have gone up in smoke in the middle of the night when no one's here and caused a bit of a nightmare. So always look on the bright side of things, I suppose. It is what it is. The joys of restoring old trucks. More work to do now, but we will get it done. We'll figure out what's gone wrong. This is literally contained the damage behind the dash. There's nothing from the bulkhead backwards. There's no sort of melted wiring around the starter motor or nothing to the battery leads. The battery leads didn't get hot. It's literally contained from that side of the dash to this side of the dash. Even the looms that come out of the bulkhead and run down under the truck. There's no damage in them, so whatever's happened, there's something shorted out behind this dashboard. So we're gonna have to look into that, guys. A bit of a nightmare, but hey ho, is what it is. We'll get it sorted. Yeah, we're not going to try to start it. We've got the stacker rigged up there, and we're going to pull it out with the stacker. Obviously it's getting painted in the morning on the chassis, so we've got to get this moved over. It's into the middle of the workshop, so we're not taking our chances and trying to power this up again. We're just going to use the stacker, move it over, get into the middle of the workshop. We're going to have to take the whole dashboard out of this now and try and figure out what the hell's gone on here. But like I say, nothing's been changed. All we've done is reconnect the batteries, gone to start it up, and poof, it's gone up in a big ball of smoke. So I suppose it's part and parcel of restoring an old truck. Lots of old dodgy wiring. It's probably had rats living in it at some point behind that dashboard, you never know. So anyway, we're going to pull this out now with the stacker, guys, and get this in the middle of the garage, and we'll come back to that on another episode. Get this dashboard ripped out and have a look what the hell's happened. So we finally got the truck in with the stacker truck, because obviously we couldn't drive it. The truck's decided to put up a bit of a fight tonight, because as we got it in, which was a struggle, we've managed to get it in position, and we wanted to jack the cab over to allow the painter to get into more of the chassis, and then a cab pipe decided it wanted to burst, which is pretty bad. So we're probably going to end up replacing all them as well. So this truck seems like it didn't want to be painted, but it's not winning the battle. We've cracked on, we've got the pipe off. We're going to get that pipe made up tomorrow at a local hydraulic firm. So we'll get that made up, throw that on, throw the cab over in the morning. The truck's now in the unit, in position. It's on the lifts and it's ready to go up in the air, ready for a big day tomorrow. Guys, if I give you a little look, this is the first coat that's gone on for the chassis, so we're not bothered about the drums, because they're getting changed with new ones anyway. It's always a difficult job painting a chassis, so many nooks and crannies to get into. So we've not done the gear yet, that's going to get done on a separate run. This is literally just covering the chassis at this point, and sort of the gear going forward onto the engine and box. First coat done. It's looking pretty good. All done underneath as well. So I'll let him crack on now. I'll do another little video once the rest of the coats have gone on. We'll see what it turns out like. We'll look around this side. We've not bothered with even bothering masking out all this pipe work and stuff, because a lot of it's getting changed anyway, and the majority of it is covered with a belly pan, so you don't see a lot of that. So should be pretty good when it's done. So I'm going to let it crack on, guys, and I'll be back shortly. Right guys, so that is the chassis now fully painted. It's had about 5 coats paint on this, put it on nice and thick, good coverage, good protection on that. All the engine, gearbox and all that is done as well. Nice shiny finish. It's not pitch perfect, but it's only a chassis. It's mainly for protection more than anything else, just to tidy it up a bit. You're never going to see much of this by the time the body's on, all the under trays and everything are on. a lot of the pipe work is going to be replaced, so we've not bothered masking a lot of it out. Stuff like this, which is all cracked, it's getting perished, so all them are going to be replaced. Again, any of you guys who have painted trucks before will know it's a mammoth task trying to mask out all the pipe work and all the valves and everything, so it just gets painted over. That's just how it's done on stuff like this. And what's next is probably going to be the cab. A bit of a hole up there in that corner that wants welding, which just comes out onto the back corner of the cab. We've got some rust to deal with around the windscreen, so the screen's going to have to come out. It's quite heavy up there, so the screen's going to be coming out. I've also got to deal with a wiring issue fault that we've had. As you've seen earlier on in this episode, we had a bit of a disaster last night when we reconnected the batteries up and tried to start it to move it out of the corner to get it into the middle of the workshop. Something behind the dashboards decided to short out and burn some wiring out, so we've got to remove the whole dashboard now and just make sure everything's right. And we're going to rewire all that, make sure it's safe, because there's a lot of dodgy wiring going on behind that dash, so we're going to rip out everything that's not needed and rewire as much as we can and make sure it's all tidy and done nicely. All this is going to be replaced, so it's going to have all new brake chambers on it. It's going to have new shocks, new brake pipes, so that's going to break it all up a bit with the paint. Obviously there's a lot of red going on at the minute because it's all just been painted, you know, because we know it's coming off anyway. So that's going to be getting done. What else are we having? We're going to be having all new drums on the back, new shoes, probably put new cam bushes in it. We've got all new chambers for the back end. We've got airbags for the drive axle, we've got airbags for the tag axle, drums and shoes for the tag axle. We've got chambers for the tag axle as well. We've got new lift axle airbags. Again, a lot of that pipe work to all that will be replaced. A lot of these hydraulic hoses are going to be replaced, and there's a lot of stuff in there that's no longer needed. So we're going to work our way through that, figure out what isn't no longer needed and rip that out and get it gone. The gear hasn't been painted yet. That still needs some prep work because we've got to take these rams off. This ram is leaking from the boss fitting on the bottom end. It's corroded, so that's got to be repaired. And the ram on the other side, the piston, is actually a little bit pitted. I'll show you that in a minute when I go round. So we can't leave that because as it gets some use, obviously the rust on that piston is going to start to chip away at the seal, so it's not going to last long before it starts leaking. So that's the reason we haven't painted the gear at the moment, because we've got to get these rams done. Obviously with the shot blasting being pulled forward, was under the hammer a little bit because we had to get the shot blasting done, and you know you can't leave bare steel around for a long time, especially this time of year, because it was just rusting in a matter of days. So the chassis has been done for that reason. Same again around here, all new drum, shoes, airbags, pipe work, and we've got a new spring for this side as well because it's actually quite worn on the spring eye bush. So we bought a full new spring for that, so that's going to get painted and then fitted. Again, a lot of this pipe work is going to be coming out. A lot of this wiring will be gone. See it on this side again, the chassis come out pretty well. Nice shiny finish. It's all been done underneath as well. The diff's been done, prop shaft's all painted. All the inside of the chassis has been done. Air tanks, gearbox. All the underneath of the engine's been done as well. Again, same around this side, shocks, chamber, pipe work, probably get some cab airbags. We're probably going to take these rocker covers off and do something with them. We might even do them in a different colour yet. We might even do some hydro dipping on them, just for the sake of it, because we can. I think that is about it. There's a lot of late nights gone into this. We was here till about 3 o'clock this morning, getting this moved around, getting everything ready for paint, and we was back here again at 8 o'clock. So it's been a couple of long days. We've had a lot of late nights on this over the last few weeks, but it's now getting there. So that's going to be it for this one. I'll see you again on the next one.